Up on Network Africa. Kenya's High Court suspends government's shutdown of 3 of the country's largest private television channels. South African President Jacob Zuma asked prosecutors to drop corruption charges against him. Mozambique's cabinet ministers approve nil bill on terrorism. Hello and welcome to the program. I am Ayotunde Balogun. We begin in Kenya, where the High Court has suspended the government's shutdown of its media houses. 3 of the country's largest private television channels, KTN, NTV, and Citizen Television, were taken off air over plans to broadcast opposition leader Raila Odinga's unofficial inauguration on Tuesday. The government is expected to restore signals of the media outfits. Kenya's media regulatory body says this should never have happened in a robust democracy. Media Council CEO David Omoyo condemned the action, saying it is against press freedom as it erodes the gains so far made in developing free and responsible media industry in the country. Opposition groups also accuse the government of violating the public's right to information about important events. The court is suspending the ban for 14 days while the case is heard. South African President Jacob Zuma has asked prosecutors to drop the GRAFT charges against him. Now, the National Prosecuting Authority says that President Zuma provided arguments on why he should not be prosecuted for corruption as pressure mounts for the scandal-plagued president to step down. Mr. Zuma, who had faced and denied numerous corruption allegations since taking office, submitted the documents on Wednesday night, few hours to the deadline through his legal team. The NPA had extended the deadline to the end of January for him to make his representations before deciding whether to proceed against him. Well, joining us now to discuss this situation is Bongani Siziba, as a South African journalist. It's glad to have you on the program Network Africa. All right, let's just go on and ask the first one I would like to find out. President Jacob Zuma has asked the National Prosecuting Authority to drop GRAFT charges against him. Now, Siziba, what do you make of his plea?
Good evening and good evening to the viewers. President Zuma has remained record sentencing against these charges. We all know that, and it's not surprising. I see on pressure mounting on him because some of his party members and South Africans want him to step down. And once he steps down, which means he will be prosecuted because he's been protected because he was the president. Maybe that's why he wants this charges dropped now.
All right, the prosecutors have been given 2 weeks to study President Zuma's submission. Do you think that this is enough time, or that is enough time really, to treat the 783 charges made against him?
There is much time because if we look at this case, which has been there for a long time, it has been years now, and I remember the National Prosecution Authority has also said that he acted impartially on dropping the charges, which means the prosecuting authority has everything on the record. They have studied this case and they know what they want to do. So there is time and everything about this case is there. So I don't think they need much more time because this case was dropped 2009. So it has been a long time. They've been looking at this case for a long time.
All right, let's talk about the National Prosecuting Authority, that's the NPA. Well, the body says over 200 witnesses have already indicated their interest and have confirmed their availability to testify against President Zuma. What do you think this can lead to? Can this possibly lead to some kind of conviction of President Zuma?
It definitely, there is evidence against you, especially when you have 200 people to testify against you, and your own party members in South Africans telling you to step down. There is a lot on this case, and I see Zuma being prosecuted, especially when he steps down, and the pressure is mounting on him.
Now, let's even talk about the popularity of President Jacob Zuma. I mean, whether or not the corruption or the graft charges are dropped against him, what do you think this will have for his popularity? Of course, opposition, many people have said that he needs to step down.
Please, sorry, come again.
All right, I just wanted to find out, I mean, let's talk about the state of the nation's speech, which is scheduled for next week. Now, do you think that, or what do we expect from the address? Do you think President Zuma will still have enough time to be in office? Talking about his popularity now, whether or not the corruption charges are dropped, what's going to happen afterwards, after this, the speech next week?
As the Speaker of the Parliament said this morning, that whoever will be the president then will deliver the speech. Which means even if Zuma's charges are dropped or not, he is still the head of state, and he will deliver the speech of the State of the Nation address. And the Parliament does not have any intention of letting Zuma go now. So which means next week Thursday, he will still deliver the State of the Nation address as the President of South Africa.
All right, we'll certainly be keeping tabs on the situation there. Bongani Siziba, South African journalist, thank you for your thoughts on the program Network Africa.